Hey everyone, welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. It's time for the Monday night Fireside Chat, and tonight's topic is snow removal and other chores. Oh no! But don't fear, there's going to be other things going on. So how's everybody doing out there? Alrighty, so let's go over here and check on comments. Go back up there and say hi to everybody in the side chat here. First one in was Gardner John, then Super Scout, then Yosi came in, and then Batman came in, and let's see, CB, Hugo Homestead, and everyone's chit-chatting there. Jay's in the house, Pastor McGuady's here, Shady Hill Homestead. Everyone's chit-chatting good. Talk it up. Alicia's here. All right. Country living with the harnesses. Yeah. I always get tongue-tied on that one. Harnesses. And Unspecified Podcast and Review is here. Hey, good to see you, brother. HPC, the Homesteading and Preparedness Collective, is in the house. And everyone's talking back and forth. And Tina Weber's in the house. All right. Okay. Tonight, Fireside Chat. It's just we're going to wind up like we're going to be chatting. We're going to be bouncing around on a different couple things, but we're going to start off with the basic stuff, and then I got a couple of things that popped up here that I just want to share, just because I think they're important. So, you guys ready for the ride? Yossi?
I'm ready.
Ready? Okay.
Hey, I got my seatbelt on.
All right, so let's go over here, and we're just, I only got a couple slides I want to talk about here. You know, snow removal, yes. Yeah. Some areas of the country are getting hammered that usually get light snow. And other areas are getting no snow yet that usually have heavy snow. Yeah, so, you know, and if you're going to shovel like this, folks, lift with your knees, straighten your back out a little bit more than she's doing, and use your knees. And if you're getting unusual snow and you know, loads and stuff, and you're keeping your house nice and hot, you got to watch out for ice dams and icicles coming down. So, you know, the ice starts melting, starts to run off and refreezes. What this creates right here is called an ice dam. And so basically you have the it's like this, and it's kind of damming it, and the water's coming down underneath all the snow. The water's coming down, it hits that, it builds back up and goes up under the shingles. So you got to make sure this is the type of stuff you want to knock off to prevent damage to your roof. And you can see how the ice dam is flowing right along above the white gutter there, building up. And you can get up there over the ladder and try cleaning it off. Or there are companies that come out with a steam cleaner, you know, and they spray the hot water stuff and steam and melt it off and stuff. And if you happen to have not just a pressure washer, it's got to be hot water or steam. You can do it yourself. And I believe that wraps up the slideshow. Yes. So there is a couple other things I want to talk about here, and one comes in health-wise. And let me get over here. I got to switch screens, but I don't want to go over till I get it ready here. There we go. Oh, crap. This just popped in exactly about 2 minutes ago. Cyprus region, 6.6 earthquake.
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me open this up and take a look-see at it here. Okay, so yeah, right there off of Cyprus. Okay, let's see what the bubbles are here. All right, so the little colored dots here correspond with the color at the bottom here, and so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So right now it looks like they got some light greens and into the light yellow for strong shaking and light damage. Let's take a little bit deeper. Oh yeah, you got some strong shaking and light damage there. Some other ones, yeah. So yeah, Cyprus was bouncing. The whole entire thing was bouncing there. So yeah. And you can see the shake lines going out into Turkey, a ways up in here into Turkey. So, and even down over here to Lebanon was shaking. Yeah, look at Lebanon. It's got some marks down here. Beirut, Tripoli. Yeah.
I didn't feel nothing.
Kind of worried.
I didn't feel nothing.
Yeah. So
we didn't feel that.
Uh-oh.
Well, the thing is, I could be kind of worried about.
Right down here, here's a green one down here by Ashdod.
Ashdod, yeah.
Yeah. So
I live like 45 minutes from Ashdod.
Yeah. So so that's the region shaking, and you can see when unfortunately they square off the line here of where the shaking is, so it was coming down there. So they probably look down here from it. Yeah, they had some displacement shakings and stuff. Anyways, yeah, so their region there had a little bit of shaking in it. So
that's going to cause some issues with the waves as well.
Yeah, that's in the middle of the bowl. It's it could cause some. It's not going to have high tsunamis, but you could have a couple extra feet on the shoreline there. A couple waves come in, and then an hour later, a couple more waves, a little bit less, and as the water kind of settles down. But yeah, wow. Yeah, okay, folks, something that's unexpected here on the Monday night Fireside Chat.
Even if it's higher than that, like 7 point something, it can cause a tsunami.
Yeah.
And 1995 was big tsunami that almost destroyed Tveria in Israel.
Wow. Okay, so that's what just happened at. All right, so time is 39. So that happened. I got the email 6 minutes ago. Popped into my email on this one. So, and let me go back one page, and just so you guys can see again the chart. So we had some yellow in here for strong shaking, light damage, but most of it was light damage or no damage. So just people got yeah. Just made them mess their pants. All right.
I want to comment here real quick. Alicia, Grapu autism mom.
Yeah.
Don't be so certain. I live in Phoenix. Okay. I remember an earthquake in California, and we felt it over in Glendale. I was laying on a bed and felt like I was on the ocean. I'm like, what the? I have never experienced the rolling effect of an of an earthquake. It freaked me out. But anywhere you live, you can be affected by an earthquake. There's fault lines that we don't even know about. So don't quite say that. It could happen, but that's also one thing to prepare for.
Alicia, Nova Scotia has a lot of fault lines up there that just haven't been moving in a while. There was one up there off the coast. Try to remember when it was. It was back in. It was after they had laid some of the transcontinental telegraph cables, and it severed some of those. This was back in the early 1800s. I mean, early 1900s or late 1800s.
Let's speak for a second about earthquake. There's two types of earthquake. The one in the ocean and one in land. The earthquake causing because the earth is layer. Is made by layer, and they push each other continuously. Mm-hmm. And one layer try to become on the bottom of another layer. Yeah. Then you have the earthquake.
Yeah. Yeah, and so basically, that's called a subduction zone where that goes underneath, and it causes the other one to bend a little bit, and when that snaps back, that's when you get the earthquake. The other one, which causes a different type of energy, isn't this way; it's this way. This way they're sliding along next to each other, and that can be seen like the San Andreas is a slippage one that slides next to each other, because you can go out in the Pinnacle National Rock area in California, and you'll see half of a cliff type thing where it broke off, and the other one is exactly 5 miles away.
That is the reason we have mountains.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that takes care of that. Let me go back over here to the earthquake. I'm gonna go back to my email here. I want to pull up another email here. Today's on my Gray Man prepping. Your prep for today was about dehydrating equipment. Caitlin made out a point, pointed out something to me here on it. She goes, she's experimented with dehydrating canned vegetables. All right, and so that's going to kind of lead us into another winter chore, and that is to keep on processing food for your preps. Hey, Maccabeus, how's it going? Mary Beth Smith. Who else did I miss? Gardner Josh is in the house. And did I miss anybody else? Gear Grinding's in the house. All right, so I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody saying hi to them, I apologize. All right, you're all great people. All right, so one of the chores people put out of their minds is, all right, the garden's done. I'm done processing food. Why? You can keep on processing food. Like Caitlin said, Caitlin's in an apartment and she's done experimented with dehydrating canned vegetables. And so you can keep using your dehydrator to process stuff to give you dehydrated food, for longer storage or however you want to do it. You can keep on doing it. And Ray, you mentioned earlier before we came on about vitamins and stuff.
Well, yeah, dehydrating is a great idea. Dehydrating canned vegetables is good. However, because most of your vitamins are going to be destroyed in the canning process itself, it's a great idea to also get frozen veggies. Those are generally flash frozen. They're going to have higher concentration in vitamins than your canned. The other thing, I'm not much of a dehydrator, so I don't know what the temperatures are in a dehydrator. I'm assuming it gets hot enough at least to evaporate water, so you may lose some additional vitamins while you're dehydrating. So yes, canned goods are a great idea to dehydrate. However, a lot of times you may be able to find better deals on the frozen vegetables. I would definitely start there and just leave the canned there in your pantries. It's nice to be able to grab a can of veggies to go with your meals. The frozen, I would personally dehydrate those before I do the cans.
Great idea. I just noticed more people came in here. Idaho Garden Girl came in. Mouse Toes is in the house. And Gunslinger Outdoors is here. And Tennessee Tactical's here. Some great channels here. I love what Gunslinger Outdoors does with his he did reviews, equipment and stuff, tents and everything else, camping like and stuff right now. Some great stuff there. Tennessee Tactical, today was his Monday ammo roundup, and he went out and bought a bunch of ammo, different places, and gives you the price, what was available, what was not available. So if you're looking for that sort of information, and he gives you an update of what it is in his area, Tennessee, of course, how the prices are and availability are. So great channel there. And of course, everyone's favorite, Mouse Toes, for you want to know anything about cooking, canning, and stuff. All right, so in dehydrating, actually you can do several ways. You can use, we have a unit that just blows air, or it blows air and heat. So you get it to dry. If you have something really juicy, like some really juicy apricots, you're gonna need a little heat in there to help it do it. But Steve, Corsair Trainer's in the house. Hey, Steve, another great channel for people to check out.
I just want to say something real quick. That's right. If you dehydrate in slow manner, that you lost all your vitamins. But the most expensive machines that cost a lot of money, they can rehydrate in 24 hours. They got a circle of frozen it, then heated it, then frozen it, then heated it, and then all your vitamin stays there.
Mhm.
I don't know about all of it, but most of the vitamins.
Yeah.
So it depends. But if you ask me, uh, now we are um, in the last of the hunting season.
Mhm.
Do,
Ooh, oh, okay. Hang on. Check this out. Tina said she was going to use jam as a filling for cakes and donuts this winter.
Uh, all I'm going to say, Tina, can you send me your address and let me know when you're doing the cooking? I'll be your official taste tester. I am a fat man after all. I know my food.
All righty. So there's the question Alicia's asking, and probably the best person to answer this is going to be Mouse Toes. Would dehydrating make them last longer than canned? And here's one answer. Okay, Mouse Toes. Here we go. There's the answer. It can, but most dehydration only lasts for a year. So if you're dehydrating the fruits and stuff. The only other thing I can think of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mouse Toast, is that once you've dehydrated the fruits and stuff, if you put them in a vacuum sealer with a one of the moisture absorbers and oxygen absorbers, you might get even a longer time out of it.
yes.
Now I
Yeah,
do know,
It depends how you store it.
right?
It's very
I
exactly.
do know my wife did some apricots, not this past summer, but 2020 and I froze again. She dehydrated them, put them in, in a Ziploc baggie, and put the vacuum on, and just cheap way of sucking it down. And I've had them in the fridge from the day she got it done. We put it in the fridge, and so I brought them up here, and they're still good. So they didn't get the sulfur dropped on them or anything else, so they're still good there. And
One of the things you want to remember when dehydrating is it's not like freeze drying where you're removing 99% of the actual moisture. You're only removing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but anywhere from 75 to maybe 89% of the moisture in dehydrating. So you still have moisture. And like Yossi pointed out, a lot of it is, and I think Mouse may have mentioned it in there in the chat, it's all going to be how you store it. If you live in a high humid environment, not only would I throw them into a vacuum seal bag with an oxygen absorber, but I would throw in maybe a moisture absorber or two as well, and then vacuum seal it. Here in Arizona, I can get away without a moisture seal or a moisture absorber a little bit easier than a lot of people in the country because we are very dry here. So when I take something out, when I get my dehydrator, when I take it out of the dehydrator, I don't have to worry about it being attacked by the moisture that's in the air already.
Yeah. All right. Some great comments here on the side. Okay. Mouse Toes says, apricots and peaches last longer than a year for her too. And of course, HBC was saying that they dehydrate tons of items and they've made powders too. Which one was it? When was it? Was it Friday? I talked about a channel called it was Friday. Jill Winger, Old Fashioned by Choice. I think that's what it is. I'm going to bring it up here, but one of her latest videos. Let me see if I can get this up here real quick for it. Come on, YouTube, let's go. Thank you. Two L's, not one L. Her channel used to be the Prairie Homestead, and now if you search Jill Winger, comes up the Prairie Homestead, but you click on it, it's Old Fashioned on Purpose. That's the name of it, actual name of it. So let me go ahead and drop that off, bring this up. So this is, Old Fashioned on Purpose. Her latest video that she put out here was stop canning tomatoes, do this instead. And that basically what she did is she put it all in a dehydrator. So she put dehydrated tomatoes, and then and we got a stupid ad. And then she puts the dehydrated tomatoes into the blender, and powderizes it that way. So,
what HPC said about the powdering of dehydrated vegetables and fruits, I gave you some information in private, Gil, if you want to provide that or not. It's not my place to do so, but that is an awesome idea.
Rose Red Homestead dehydrates and powders a lot of fruit and vegetables.
It is very good for you in smoothie drinks. It's also a great way to get your vegetables in and to hide them from the kids, because you can make a very yummy drink with a lot of fruit and some vegetables. So your kids are getting those vegetables too.
All right. So if we get another, holler out if we get another spammer in here, and I'll just go ahead and click the button over here and make them have to be a member for 5 minutes before they can say anything. Anyways, yeah. So Mouse Toast likes to clear. Yeah, clear jars, vacuum sealed bags you can see through. The Mylars you can't see through, although the Mylar does block the light to keep to it, which affects it. But if you keep the clear jars and stuff in a dark room, or the vacuum sealed bags in a container where the sun can't get to, you just open up to check them. That's good too. Here's
my thoughts on Mylar. They're great as a secondary, but not so much as a primary. Your vacuum sealed bags being your primary, you can still keep foods long term through them. Maybe as you progress in prepping, then switch them into Mylar for some additional protection from the sun.
Yeah. And having it back this just a second, she was showing what it looks like in the making the powder. You can see all that powder material around on the side, so she's having to scrape it out. So yeah, there's making powders out of your, so you don't have to make the powders and do the dehydrating in the summertime for some of the things. You can wait later on. One of the things my wife does also is we'll get from all the strawberries she has, she harvests strawberries and just freezes them. So later on, she could take and dehydrate those, powder those for making slushies and stuff.
Yeah.
Or desserts or whatever with. Okay, Pastor McGuady says vacuum sealed dehydrated veggies, put them in a 5-gallon food grade bucket. Okay. Now, Pastor McGuady, is that just you just put the dehydrated things into the bucket, or you put them in bags into the bucket?
Well, she's saying that she vacuum seals, so right there we can automatically assume that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. I'm brain dead. I'm about ready to laugh at what Jay put here. Mouse keeps her canning vessels in a vault, sort of like the bunker in Cheyenne Mountain. I know there was some. I guess go back up here real quick. There were a couple others. Kalen's Drain's in the house. Tibor's in the house. Hey, Tibor.
The vault located in Mount Rushmore in one of the president's ears.
Okay.
Here's a new name, the earwax.
Yeah. Tina Weber says she powders dehydrated mushrooms, and one of the other ones I was looking at was talking about doing that as well. And the tomato powder. What's good about that is, once you powder it, vacuum seal it, and everything else, you need to make a pasta sauce. Just add water to it, add your other herbs and everything to it, reconstitute it, heat it up, and you're good to go. Oh, all right. Now still has a word of warning. Number 10 cans of tomato powder will start to expand after about 2 years.
I want to address that real quick. I don't buy number 10 cans very often. There's some things that I will buy number 10 cans. However, I tend to buy in bulk. So that means I have to repackage them. And that's one of the reasons why I don't buy in cans themselves. The other being is just price. I can get a better price on bulk at 35 pounds than I can for the equivalent number of number 10 cans.
Yeah. And what was that website you told me about, Dave?
The
yesterday?
one I use most often is bulkfoods.com.
Right. Let me pull that up here again real quick here.
Now, just so you guys know, I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get a kickback. Gil don't get a kickback. Neither does Yossi or anybody else I know. I prefer them just because when I buy, I'm buying 200 or 300 pounds. And if you see right there on the very top, $5. If you order $75 or more, $5 shipping to most states. I think Alaska and the other states like Hawaii and the territories that are not part of the contiguous 48, you're going to pay a little bit extra, but that's to be expected.
Yeah. So, I mean, here, cabbage powder. I never thought about cabbage powder because cabbage powder, I guess you can use in adding to flour to, because they do, or also same thing with cauliflower and some other ones to, extend it and get it to go.
Well, not only that, but it's great to add to your strawberry slushies.
Yeah.
Great form of fiber in cabbage and cabbage powder.
I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was today or yesterday, was talking about adding the powders and stuff to like cabbage, cauliflower, and some others to flours for making pizza bread. And so now one of the things here that they're doing such a thing. It's in the okay. There's one celery powder was one of the things they were doing too.
Yeah. And why Gail has it in getting his mind together there. If you see, they also sell candy. It's a great place. Hey, let's face it, people, stock up on candy, comfort foods. You got to have them. Yeah. Chocolate goes a long way to build up those spirits in those bad times.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got their all this different type stuff here, fruit and spices, nuts, dried fruits, all coffees and teas or chocolates for those that want it. But yeah, so yeah, there's just because it's wintertime and the garden is no longer producing doesn't mean you stop putting away food. Hey, Mennonite Farmhouse, how's it going? One of the things to do to consider doing is Pennsylvania Prepper. I know her piece of equipment is expensive. That's the freeze dryer. But if you get with somebody who's planning on buying a freeze dryer and make arrangements to rent time on it, so you can do your own freeze drying and stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can do in the wintertime and not have to worry about doing it in the summertime or in the fall when you're busy harvesting other produce and stuff. A Suburban Homestead. Whoa. No. Ow. Oh, shoot. That's, I hope you get successful at it. Because that just plain old, yeah. Oh, CB has a great idea. Spinach powder is a good way to hide veggies in recipes and get kids to eat veggies. Spinach, chard, whether it's rainbow chard, Swiss chard, kale, that's all part of the same type family. So yeah, that works good.
Yeah, any type of veggies powdered is a great way to hide those from the kids, and they bring a little bit extra flavor to them.
The most benefit about dehydrated vegetable, and you can do it in saltiness or in sweet or sour. You can hide it however you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just trying. I saw someone made a comment to Tibor. I'm just trying to figure out what he did. Mousetoe's telling, I hope you're wearing a helmet, Tibor. You must have said he's going to come over to visit Mouse. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing is though, with buying a freeze drying machine, you got to determine how much you're going to be using it.
Well,
because,
I am sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I really want to address this because meat is going up in price, people. That's a given. You see it every day. Every time you go to that grocery store, that hamburger is going up in price. Those steaks. A freeze dryer is the ultimately perfect way of storing meat long term.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it will. If you're a meat eater, I am a meat eater. I'm meat and potatoes. That's what we grew up in the Midwest with. Okay. So I got to have some type of meat with every meal. For me, it is absolutely on my to get list. It's number one, actually. It will pay off very quickly in your investment when you're doing meat. As long as you stick with meat. I mean, you can freeze dry other items, but you primarily want to get your meats done until you have your ROI.
I'm trying to find something here. Pennsylvania Prepper on freeze. Oh, okay. She's got 83 videos on freeze drying foods, and then 114 on food preps and food storage solutions. But I was trying to find the one. She has a couple of them where she does the freeze dried raw hamburgers, and then freeze dried cooked hamburgers,
Mm-hmm.
and then freeze dried the cooked ground beef. You grind it all, break it all up, and freeze dried that. She's done freeze dried chili with and without beans.
That's why I'm trying to say earlier, if you're a hunter and you do your meat and you harvest your meat yourself, you can save a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can use that money, then buy a freeze dryer.
Mm-hmm.
And after 2, 3 years, it's benefit.
Yeah. And that's
Actually,
one of the
most
things my
people-
wife is waiting. She said we're not going to get a freeze dryer until she's up here. We get the greenhouse. The greenhouse is all built and producing. The outside garden's producing, and we're producing so much stuff we can't can anymore. Then we're getting the freeze dryer.
Most people that I know of that have already gotten freeze dryer are telling me within 4 to 6 months they have their ROI, their return on investment in meat. So it doesn't take long to get there. And to comment on Gary Gryden, save animals, eat veggies. Well, I look at it this way. I'm saving a vegan's dinner from being eaten by that cow. So I'm helping a vegan.
Yeah. Well, I look at it this way. The cow takes vegetables, all vegetables, and turns it into steak for me. So,
Right. So therefore,
Well,
you are vegan by default.
I'm
It is-
Jewish. I'm Jewish, and I believe in God, and I believe in the Bible. And if God didn't want us to eat meat, that it not become kosher.
exactly.
I see it that way.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to show something up here. This is the freeze-dried foods playlist off of Pennsylvania Prepper. Number 1, homegrown tomatoes in a harvest-dried freeze dryer. Number 2, chili. Number 3, emergency. Did the unboxing. No, freeze-dried linguiça after 18 months in storage. What does it taste like? Freeze drying a taco salad. Okay, she had some little problems doing chicken, freeze drying chicken thighs. I believe she addressed that in there too. Freeze dried cheesecake. Yes, you can. Chicken and noodles. She did that in there. Turkey, homemade maple sausage, blueberry and peach pies, baked ham. Sorry, Yossi. Mac and cheese. Then she reconstituted mac and cheese. Pork again, candy, spaghetti. Mixed up spaghetti and sauce and did it. So
Almost
shrimp.
almost every food item can be freeze dried. There are a few exceptions. Now, I am not a freeze dryer. I don't have one yet. I followed Harvest Right in just about every freeze drying channel out there.
Yeah.
The only problems I see are with fibrous and leafy greens, lettuce, cabbage, celery. These things don't dehydrate and reconstitute well and I wish they would, because I love my Brussels sprouts. Oh God, I love Brussels sprouts. I don't know what it is, but I crave them all the time. And I love to buy them in bulk, and I eat those. Matter of fact, I have a bowl for breakfast, lunch, and dinner of Brussels sprouts. That's how much I love them.
Yeah. And Kaylin, yes, she did. She freeze-dried meats, dog food, canned food. She's freeze-dried all that for the dogs. And pineapples, oranges, fish, baked beans. I mean, all the stuff here. Raw eggs, tuna steaks.
Absolutely, eggs. If you have a lot of people are raising chickens nowadays, a powdered egg is expensive. If you have the ability, that is another one other than meats. That is a great thing to freeze dry, because now you have those eggs for later use. The thing people also don't realize is before you freeze dry them, you can separate them, because a lot of recipes only require egg yolk or egg whites, not the whole egg. You can spend the time and separate them and have your own egg white powder, your own egg yolk powder, and your own whole egg powder. Mm-hmm. And you're going to save a ton of money compared to if you were to buy these things in number 10 cans, bulk, at Wally World. It doesn't matter. You're going to save a whole lot of money if you raise your own chickens.
Yeah. Pest McGuady says on your Brussels sprouts, can them.
I have been looking and searching high and low for a good canning recipe. They don't turn out very well in a pressure canner, at least. Yeah. I haven't water bathed them. So if you know of the process of how to do that, please drop a link. I will definitely watch it and
You need to check out the channel Rebel Canner.
Rebel Canner, Tammy's.
I see a lot of pickled Brussels sprouts, and I'm not much of a pickled type person.
Yeah.
So,
Mouse, do you know of any good recipes? There we go. Froze. Oh, here you go. Mouse is about Brussels sprouts. Turns out that after slicing in half.
Slice them in half, put them in the freezer, and then I'll fry them up with just a little bit of oil.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt Mennonite says you can't do Brussels sprouts in the freezer, because they're too fibrous. You can only pickle them or freeze them. Yeah. So now I want to throw something out here for everybody here real quick, since we talked a little bit about canning, asked about recipes and stuff. Give me a second here to find it. Not cooking. It's in the canning playlist. Canning. And the book is the complete guide. I got to get the right one, because I have the old one shared and I saved, and when it came out, the revised in 2000. I have the 2015 revision. They just came out with the 2021 version, and I'm trying to find that again. I forgot to come on. We weren't supposed to jump like that. 2015. No, I want the 2021. They keep on putting all the Amazon's pushing the 2015 one ahead of the 2021. Here we go, 2021.
Actually,
Yes.
Mouse and HPC, it can be done if done correctly. Rose Red has addressed that issue. I do put a lot of stock into what she says. She does have the education in the dehydrating and food sciences, but yes, eggs can be dehydrated. Me myself, I wouldn't be ready to do that for a while until I get more used to dehydrating.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So this is the that's the Kindle version of it. See if I can find the. Anyways, but this is U.S. Department of Agriculture, the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and there is the 2000. This didn't come up saying 21. That's not sure which one this one is, but yeah, you look for the 2021. This is March, so I don't think that's the right one here. Yeah, you just look for the right one here for the. That's what I had up there. Complete Guide to Home Canning. Current printing. No, that's not current printing. The 2015 is not the current printing. The 2021, because Ray and I found it yesterday when I was looking.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's in there. So, yeah. Let me try this. Put notice on it. 2021. See if that helps it. Brings it up. Boom. 2015. Dang! I knew I should have saved it to the thing, but I found it several times and now it's not showing. But it is in here. It's this one here. That is the. You can get the Kindle version. You can get the hard copy version, but it says on the end down here it'll say 2021. And I believe it was August 2021 is when they did it. So that's the new latest and greatest version right there.
Mennonite, I agree. Safety always comes first. That's why I believe what Rebel Canners do, because yes, these canning books are great to have around. And understanding what the USDA says about canning is great to have as knowledge. But remember, it's not the be-all, end-all Bible of canning. Even dehydrating. You guys, I'll point anybody to a specific direction. It's up to you to do the research and what you feel comfortable with yourself. I would, and I know Gil won't and Yossi won't. We're not going to tell you have to do this.
Yeah.
It's completely up to you. It's what you feel comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I have some canning books that were my grandmother's, and I think one of them was her mother's. My grandmother was born in 1899. So, and so, I mean, so I think one of the books was Granny's, and Granny was still alive when I was a little kid. So, but yeah, some of the stuff in those old ones and stuff, because they removed it because people were taking shortcuts. And like Mouse Toe says,
Mouse Toe, Gil warned me.
Oh,
Gil warned me about you.
Woo.
Gil warned me about you, didn't you, Gil? You warned me about it.
Hey, when it comes to safety and canning, she will kick your ass if you try doing it wrong. Pardon my French.
Mouse, I tell you right now, we're going to be the best of friends and the best of enemies. Okay? Because what facts you have, I will counter with facts. I do believe in facts. But like I'm always going to tell people, I tell people on my own channel, I do it. This works for me. I've done it this way. I know it works. However, you may have different results. And please don't do something that you do not feel comfortable with. That's all I can say. Don't do it.
Yeah. And Prairie Riders in the house. The Queen of the North has crossed the border. Hey, Lori, how's it going? Yeah. One of the things is that recipes and stuff that were in my grandmother's and great grandmother's canning books that they took out because it's not safe to do. The reason why some of that stuff got taken out because it's not safe to do, because idiots were cutting time short, especially when pressure canning. You don't if it says an hour and 5 minutes, you do an hour and 5 minutes and maybe an hour and 10.
Hey, you can go an hour 20 and an hour 30. It says that you should be processing at 10 psi. Hey, it's not going to hurt you to go up to 15, 16, 17. 18 and 19 is where I can. In Phoenix, it's recommended at 15 psi. I know my canner. I know the burner that I use, so I can keep it at 18 to 19. Anything out of above 19, yeah, let me know because I don't want to be anywhere near you, okay?
Yeah. Hey, Grammy Karen. Got Grammy Karen and Michelle P's in the house now. And, yeah, so there's, a lot of the stuff that was taken out that the FDA said, oh, no, you don't do that anymore. Well, that's because idiots, when they were pressure canning, were meat and stuff, instead of doing it for the full time, they were shortchanging it. And people in there then would get botulism or whatever else, and they would, hey, cute. Yep.
This is one of the reasons why they made it illegal, other than taxes, but they made it illegal free to homebrew up until the early or late 70s, I forgot. Yeah. But now you can actually brew your own beer. People are making shortcuts, causing a bad product, getting other bacteria and germs and other wild yeast mixed in, and
using stuff they weren't, materials they weren't supposed to be using. They'd have their copper stuff, and they'd use lead solder on the joints instead of the silver solder, using the non-lead stuff, and they were causing problems.
They would use for spirits. They would use antifreeze to give it a sweeter taste, because believe it or not, glycol is an actual sweetener in a lot of things, but not when it's used as antifreeze.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things you can keep, just because, like I said, I'll keep saying this, folks, just because summer's over, just because the harvest is over, doesn't mean you have to stop canning. My daughter has down in the basement, on the one video where I was putting up the LED Christmas lights so she could see back in the dark hole, she had a bunch of butternut squash there that she's going to be processing during the wintertime. There's a lot of squashes and stuff you can harvest and put them down in the root cellar, and then later on get around to processing them, so you're not overloading yourself. And in the fall, they're trying to process everything at once.
Gil, one of the best things I like to buy in the winter, and you'll see, I don't know if you guys have it in your area, is corned beef. Because come St. Patty's Day, that corned beef goes up skyrocketing in price. And I've already got jars of ready-to-eat corned beef ready to go, and it cost me nothing. Or next to nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, filming a chili, on using your own dehydrated onions, peppers, and beans. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there are things that because there's been improvements in canning stuff that I've heard, no one has pointed it out to me directly, and I would like someone to point it out to me directly, Mouse, anybody else out here, where the FDA USDA has put stuff back into their canning book because the equipment has improved, and the safety stuff getting out there that tell people to follow it is doing it. So
yeah, things improve. Mouse, you can correct us if I'm wrong, But years ago, the USDA said you had to boil your lids. You had to do it, and now they're changing it and saying, "Hey, if you're pressure canning, there's really no need to boil those lids."
Yeah,
things change with times, mainly because they've done more research. Equipment, like Gil said, is getting better. People are understanding not to do these shortcuts. A shortcut is nothing more than a lazy man's way.
of getting into the
Do it
groove
right.
sometimes.
Do it right the first time.
Yeah, and things with like YouTube and Facebook, the information is getting out there more about don't shortcut this, do this exactly right, do the time, don't do it 5 minutes short. Oh, it's good enough. No, it's not good enough. Follow the instructions, and if you're worried about I put the meat in, the meat was too cold when I put it in. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mouse Toes, Suburban Hillbilly. Now, if the meat I'm putting in the can was colder than it should have been when I put it in the jar and put it in the pressure cooker, it's okay to add 5 minutes to it.
5-10 minutes. I do.
The biggest problem about meat is the fat in the meat.
Yeah, you do have to cut a lot of that fat out.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing, fat. In a freeze dryer, going back to freeze dryer, this from Pennsylvania Prepper and several others that have freeze dryers. Trim all the fat you can off the meat when you freeze dry it, because fat does not like to freeze dry.
Not at all. It will actually create a mess in that freeze dryer for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dehydrate. HPC says like dehydrating in the fall or winter. When you have too much produce in the garden, you just freeze it and then you take time to dehydrate it when the food's ready. Yeah, exactly. So if you had from the spring, from the fall, when you're harvesting all this food, your garden's producing and you're doing great, and you got too much to process. Toss it in. Toss what you can in the freezer. Know what you can freeze, what you can't freeze, and do later. So, and then stuff you can't freeze, that's what you do now. And then stuff you can freeze and do later, do that. And Mouse Toast has a good point here, right here. The lid box will tell you whether to boil it or simply wash it. Froze. USDA did not make the lid. Yeah, so follow the manufacturer's instructions.
Me personally, I boil my lids. It gives me that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. So it's something that I'm used to doing. So that's one thing that I don't want to change. I already know that by boiling it, I'm sterilizing that lid. I'm happy doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just catching up on the side chat, trying to find all the great little stuff here. Cold. All right,
Kaylin,
okay, cold food, cold canner, hot food, hot canner, hot pack meat. Yeah. Okay.
No, I actually cold pack my meat. Most of my meat is cold packed. The pressure canning process itself cooks the meat, such as my corned beef. I actually trim it up, trim out the fat, stick it in there, and stick it in the canner. No added liquids or anything. I actually wash the corned beef because otherwise, to me, it's too salty, and I hate salt.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying with the hot pack. If the jar is hot, that pressure canner better be hot. If it's cold jar, that pressure canner better be cold. You're going to have headaches otherwise.
Jay, you missed the first bit because at the very first we talked about snow removal and ice dams and stuff like that. All right.
Oh, Caitlin, you did not upset me. Trust me. I'm a fat kid, and I was a fat kid in the 80s, so you cannot upset me. I done heard everything, okay? Let's get that out there right now.
I meet him. Hey, my chili is doing good. It's granted, I cook it and then I freeze it. I haven't started canning it yet.
But Kaylin was saying that all she has is the freezer on top of her refrigerator.
Yeah.
Which a lot of us people in apartments are just like that. Canning, canning, canning. That's all I'm going to say. 3 words. Canning, canning, canning.
Yeah. All righty. Okay. And I think we've got the point across that just because it's wintertime, you still got a lot of winter. You got winter chores that you normally associate with the fall and summer. So, yeah, and then of course going back to the snow. Yeah, some areas have been getting lucky with light snow and stuff. Courtney, Dave, I don't know what happened with Ohio there, but they haven't been getting hit hard.
Nothing. Yeah.
One of the tricks that we did in the Midwest, if we knew we were going to get a really hard snow, is we'd actually put tarps on the roof, and we would rig with the little eyelets a rope so that you can safely pull it off. And I tell you what, it sure beats getting up there on a ladder with a broom or a shovel or anything else, because when that stuff comes down, again, safety first. But when that stuff comes down, it's going to come down real quick and real fast.
Can you put salt on the roof, like in the roads?
No, I want to talk about the thing. Just want to say good night, Lori. Catch you later. All right. There are, salt has a habit, and when you got the shingles, the the asphalt shingles, it does cause it to break down quicker.
Yeah.
If you have the metal roof, you don't want to put the snow up there because the salt up there with the snow, because that salt water will get around everything and it'll rust. It'll
find a way through that paint.
Any scratch there, man, that's where it's going to go, and all of a sudden you're going to have, it's going to rust right through. There is a product though. The local Ace Hardware here sells it. It's not salt. It's a byproduct of making whiskey. And it reacts with the water. You throw it out on ice and it just melts it, but it's not salt. And so I've tossed that up on one of the small sections of the metal roof across the street. No rust, no marks, nothing, but it just melted quick and ran off.
That makes sense,
it is
because
a little more
whiskey,
expensive.
Yeah, that makes sense because whiskey doesn't freeze.
Yeah.
Well, I also want to point out a pro tip. If anybody has an extra vehicle that doesn't get used much in the winter but is sitting outside, if you put a tarp on it and you get snow, don't touch that tarp until all the snow is gone. I did that with a 68 Mustang one time. It had a fresh painted coat from the summer before. It had to get repainted. It will rip that paint right off.
Yeah. Okay, what did Emma say something here? Go back up here. Emma says, okay. All right, so I'm going to catch up with the conversation side chat. Have dehydrated shredded hash browns from the store. The kind that is only potatoes work perfectly. I think Linda's pantry is where I saw that.
Okay, the ones that are not pre-oiled or anything.
Right, exactly.
And that's a good idea too, because I store a lot of shredded potatoes for my Saturday and Sunday morning breakfast. I love my hash browns too. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, my youngest son has become a snob, and I want to smack him sometimes when it comes to hash browns. He doesn't want dehydrated. He doesn't want frozen. He goes and buys potatoes and grates them himself to do it. And it's
okay, I give him credit for taking the initiative and willing to put in the work and the effort for it. But for me, I'm fat for a reason. I want fast food. Okay.
Well, see, we used to get the Orida brand box of dehydrated potato hash browns. For you just put your throw it in the thing, you reconstitute with hot water, and then you fry it up.
Yeah.
I love that because that's also great for me. I have a recipe for a potato soup that I put the dehydrated hash brown into it while I'm cooking it. So basically, I got shelf-stable potatoes, and I got the powder, the mashed potato shelf-stable stuff, and I just make fresh, but it's a killer recipe.
Well, not only that, but the shredded potatoes, but there's diced potatoes. You can slice the potatoes in rounds so that you can make au gratin potatoes and have that sitting in your pantry ready to go. So that way you never have to go to the grocery store to buy a 20-pound sack of potatoes home and slice them before dinner. And I would rather put in some extra work, especially during the winter time. I'm going to have to get me a dehydrator so I can start doing it. But I'd rather, because there's really not a lot to do. You're home a lot during the winter. You're not out and about. So you might as well put your time to use.
Yeah, I really hate when I do this. I go to put someone's name in there, and I think I click the enter, and it doesn't go in there. Say hi to them. But Kate from Kate's Kitchen, how you doing, Kate? And I know I forgot to say hi. I know I've mentioned Emma several times in the thing here, but I forgot to say hi, Emma. So
I used to be a professional chef. I do everything myself because I like it, because it's my passion, it's my therapy.
Yeah.
I know people like my brother was like you. He's the only man that I know of that, like on that Full House, or was it Full? One of the 80s sitcom shows. He could take a bottle of ketchup and make the best damn spaghetti sauce you ever ate. Some people have the passion and the ability to do that. I'm not one of them.
Yeah. All right. I got to check something here for everybody here because I know it's coming up here afterwards. I want to make sure I get it right here. Okay. That's interesting. I thought Courtney's supposed to do a media Monday at 8 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock my time, which is 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yes, she has one. She has one 5
at 8. Listed for 8:30. Late talk. I bet she scheduled it at the wrong time. I bet that's supposed to be 9:30. She scheduled it an hour earlier than she's supposed to because at 10 o'clock Eastern time she's supposed to do Media Monday, and then at 11:30 Eastern time that's scheduled an hour early by mistake. So White Family Farm in about 24 minutes has Media Monday, which she does shout out for channels and stuff. I'm heading over there. Yossi's heading over there. We'll see you over there. Everybody in the side chat here, though, just want to ask you to, there it is, show your support for these two gentlemen here with me here. They got some great videos on their channels. Oh, Ray, Fat Man here has started his YouTube channel on December 22nd. It's 3 weeks he's been on. So, and he's already got some great videos out there and some stuff. So, I mean, he's going to be a great asset to the prepper community and the homesteading community here with information. So let's welcome him, go over there and check him out. And let me grab this other one here. Where is it here? Bingo.
Well, while Gil's thinking, I want to say thank you. And everyone, please make sure to show Gil some love. Hit the thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe and like, share. If you're old, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed because YouTube has this funny thing of unsubscribing people.
Yeah. All right.
Also with Yossi as well.
Especially in January.
All right. So here is the link to Fat Man Prepper. That's the link to his channel. go over and check him out. And Yossi's in
the
the
simple kitchen.
simple kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, I mean, yeah, I think everybody here knows Yossi. If you don't, you haven't been coming around enough.
One real quick. With 76 subscribers right now, guys, I made a goal to hit 100. I am having a giveaway. It's a pretty substantial giveaway. It will be a 100-gram Valcombe Swiss silver bar. For those that are not within the U.S., you are still able to win. You'll just win the spot price of silver, and that will be PayPal to you.
Yeah. All right. So there's Yossi's link right there. So, all right. So we're going to wrap it up here now, and just want to let me give the last minute announcements here. Pull up the other screen here. All right. So Courtney's going live first with the Media Monday and 22 minutes. Then an hour and a half after that, she has the late night chat, which is kind of PG-17.
Yeah. But we have fun.
We have fun. Oh, we have a lot of fun. It's all part of the Poop Troop. Yeah, there it is. Poop Troop. There's the Poop Troop shirt. And tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping, my preparedness channel, at 10 o'clock Eastern, the topic is fuel. Make it go, make it burn. We're going to be talking about fuel, storing it, how to keep your fuel from going bad, alternate fuels you can use for certain things. It's just going to be a general discussion about fuels and stuff. Thursday Talk, also on Gray Man Prepping, is it's a scenario based. You know how some of these channels, these I'm going to say it, these fear porn channels. Oh, this is going to happen. Run, hide. Well, all right. So what we're doing is we're taking some of these scenarios and say, all right, it happened. Now what's your plan? And so we're going to talk about what after an event happens, how what's your plan to deal with it if that's something you've been preparing for, if that's something you haven't been preparing for. But an event has happened. We've done Yellowstone. We've done several other ones. Well, Thursday is we've had a year-long worldwide famine, and it looks like it's going to continue. What are your plans? How are you going to deal with that? And so that's on Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, Gil, go ahead.
Yeah, that's on Thursday. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. And then Friday night on the Homestead is what's going wrong with this winter. So we're going to talk about, all the things that are abnormal so far about this winter, what's going wrong. And, of course, we'll touch on what's going right. All right. So for right now, though, we're going to wrap this up here. I want to thank everybody in the side chat that came in. Tennessee Tech. He says, fear porn pays their bills.
Basically. It may pay their bills, but I don't put much stock into those sites. I really don't. Yeah. I mean, you can prepare. Being prepared is great. One thing you're not going to be able to do is to prepare for everything.
Yeah.
You have to learn to mitigate the things that you can and can't do.
Thanks, CR, for knocking that.
Somebody got that troll
scammer out of here.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as always, everyone, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps: food, water, medicines, canning supplies, dehydrating supplies, and we will see you later on.